everyone, it is Jazz here. Today I am doing yet another to be read for yet another read-a-thon, but that is okay because I am super excited about this particular read-a-thon. I've been planning my TBR and when I'm going to read for it for a really long time since it was announced a few weeks ago. Today I'm doing the TBR for the SpookAthon, and for this we read books that are kind of centered around the thriller genre, if you will. The SpookAthon is taking place from October 16th until October 22nd. I will link you to Books and Lala's announcement video because that's how I found out about this fabulous read-a-thon, but I will also link you to the other hosts for this read-a-thon in the description so that you can check out their channels. There are 5 challenges for the SpookAthon read-a-thon. First challenge is to, of course, read a thriller novel. For this challenge, I'm going to read Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Someday I will pronounce this author's name right. Anyway, this is a book that is about a girl that is the daughter of a filmmaker who has supposedly committed suicide, and the journalist that's the main character in this book doesn't really think that that happened. So before you look at me like I'm crazy because this is like a 500-page book, I have already started this book, so I'm hoping to get at least halfway through this book before the read-a-thon starts, and then I just have to finish the other half during the read-a-thon. Second challenge is to read a book with a spooky word in the title. So I couldn't decide between 2 books. So those 2 books are A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and the other one would be a reread, which is The Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King. I can't decide because I just bought A Monster Calls and I'm really intrigued by it and want to read it, but I also kind of want to reread this one just to get those Halloween-y type of vibes. So I don't know. They're both fairly short. If I can get to both, maybe I'll try for both on this one, but if I can't, I'll probably just pick this one because it's a new book in my collection. Third challenge is to read a book based on a childhood fear. So I'm going to kind of cheat on this one because my childhood fears are still fears that I sort of have now, and I don't know if I want to like super live there for a week. And they are creepy dolls / ventriloquist dummies and also possession, and I just can't have stuff about those in my house. I just can't do it. So I'm just going to read a book from my TBR for the year that I've been intending to read, and it's gonna be In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. So this book is kind of creepifying in terms of childhood fears and probably adult fears for sure, because it is a true crime novel about a real murder that happened. I might try to audiobook this. I don't know how that's gonna go because it is, you know, about murderiness, and I don't know how that's gonna be like read to you. So we'll see if I'm audiobooking it or if I'm just reading it in print. But I do really need to get to this book before the end of the year because it's one of my goals. So I'm gonna use the read-a-thon to get this at least begun. Challenge number 4 is to read a book with orange on the cover, and I decided to go with Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH by Robert C. O'Brien. So this has been on my shelf since I can remember. Like, I don't remember buying it. I just remember it always being on my shelf, and I still haven't read it, even though it's a children's novel. Probably should have read it when I was actually a kid because I think I've had it that long, but I still haven't gotten to it. I think it's time to like check off this book, and you know, it fits the challenge because it's got a lot of fabulous orange on it. This definitely sounds really interesting because it's got a lot of little animals that are going to be interacting with each other in this one. Also, I think I'm going to audiobook this one because I think the audiobook is like 6 hours and I can just like knock that out pretty quick. And the last challenge is to read a book that has a spooky setting. So for this, I'm going to go with I, Ripper by Stephen Hunter, and this is a Jack the Ripper story. I can't think of anything like spookier than like Whitechapel in this time period with Jack the Ripper running around. And if you've watched any Jack the Ripper documentaries, you know that like The streets back then were super dark, which is just like an additional level of creepy to me. So I think this one will fit. And the only thing that I'm not doing is reading the read-along book, which is called A Stranger in the House. The book does sound really super interesting, but I'm not going to read it personally because I wanted to read books that I already owned instead of like getting a new book, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to go to the library or anything to get the book before the read-a-thon. So that's the only reason why I'm not reading it. That is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my TBR for the SpookAthon. And if you have read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. So I will see you all on Sunday. Thank you for watching. Bye!